Hi, I'm Douglas Mason, President and CEO of Magnum Gold Corp Inc., MGI on the TSX Venture Exchange. A 2015 drill program on the LH property intersected high-grade gold, including 16.9 meters of 13.58 grams and 11 meters of 20.66 grams per ton gold. A follow-up drill program is planned to further evaluate previously identified subsurface high-grade gold mineralization. Please visit our website at magnumgoldcorp.com.
Welcome to the Goddard Report. Comments made on the Goddard Report and TalkDigitalNetwork.com are an expression of opinion only. Here is Jim Goddard.
My guest is Sharon Noble, Director of the BC Coalition to Stop Smart Meters. Welcome back to the show, Sharon.
Thank you very much, Jim.
Well, you had that 700-page report on smart meter fires. What kind of reaction have you received from the government or any MLA so far?
Nothing. Not word one. Not from the Premier, who in 2011 stood outside the Union of BC Municipalities Convention with me, and he helped pass the resolution saying that these things should not be out there until they're proven to be safe. He stood with me and supported this. He got angry when, after the resolution passed, Coleman said, you've got three choices. You take the smart meter, you leave the province, or you go off the grid. He got mad when Christy Clark said, I don't care what the municipalities want. You're all getting the smart meter. He got angry when we were treated with disdain and arrogance, and yet he's doing the same thing.
Well, I guess he's been trained by the best.
I'm sorry?
I said, I guess he's been trained by the best.
Well, I wish I understood where the John Horgan, who was willing to stand up for the people, is on this. You know, and where is Adrian Dix, who last year spoke out about the cost and the bottomless pit that these smart meters will result in costing. They have to be replaced every 5 to 7 years because they're cheap computers. Where is Adrian Dix on this? I mean, I can understand Horgan and the others not understanding the health issue. I don't understand how they can ignore the fire issue, because this is out there, and I've provided the evidence, yet nothing.
And you said, ironically, there's just been a recall of dishwashers for a fire hazard, a dishwasher that hasn't caused any fires in Canada yet they're recalling it, and we know smart meters can cause fires. Yep.
There were 5 or 6 fires in the U.S., and they recalled this dishwasher in the U.S. Canada has had no dishwasher fires. They recalled it as well. We've had hundreds of smart meter fires across Canada and the U.S. We've had many. I know of at least 47 fires in British Columbia, and they aren't recalling them. Is it because the companies are too loaded with political friends? What is going on here? What do we need to do to get these things recalled? And as I've said over and over again, I know your listeners have probably said, I know exactly what she's going to say, that if Itron recalls them, we can get all of our money back. And if we can get our money back, we can force them to put the safe analogs back on our homes. Safe, reliable, inexpensive analogs. In California, they discovered that after many of the fires, you know, they've had those horrible fires in Northern California, they said they were exacerbated by the lousy infrastructure, the poles, the wires, whatever. They're going to spend the money that they get, the federal money and the insurance money or whatever money they get to do the replacement of the infrastructure. They're going to put the wires underground. If we got the money back from Itron, that $1 billion could go so far toward putting some of the infrastructure underground. First, it'd be safe from storms. We'd have far fewer outages. and people wouldn't be irradiated by the power lines going over their homes. It makes so much sense. We'd have money that we could use wisely. And instead, we're sitting with these fire hazards on our home. I just don't understand it.
We'll have more with Sharon Noble right after the break.
Glance Technologies owns and operates Glance Pay, a disruptive mobile payment technology now live in 16 cities in Canada and about to launch in the U.S. With revenues up 664% in the last quarter, Glance Technologies has the potential to be a worldwide leader in an industry projected to grow to $1.3 trillion in 3 years. Glance Technologies stock symbols are GLNFF in the U.S. and GET in Canada. Find out more at glancepay.com.
Lotus Ventures Inc. is a BC-based medical marijuana company poised to launch into the rapidly evolving cannabis sector. Lotus is in the final review stage of the Health Canada approvals to become a licensed producer, having arranged facility financing of up to $12 million, plus building permits for its prototype indoor production facility. Shares trade under the symbol J on the Canadian Securities Exchange. Visit our website at lotusventures.ca.
Welcome back. We're chatting with Sharon Noble. Sharon, you drew an analogy here between smart meters and asbestos and tobacco, because those industries for decades told us there's no problem here. There's no reason to worry. These things can't hurt you. Well, now we know very well they can hurt you. And it was known back in the 30s that stuff was not good for you. Are we going through the same kind of planned ignorance?
Absolutely. And many people are calling this wireless radiation like that's emitted from smart meters and cell phones and cell towers the next cigarette, because it's the very same thing. We've had information that this microwave radiation causes microwave sickness. That's what it was called in the 40s and 50s. The studies have been there for 50 and 60 years now. And more and better studies are being done, and especially in the last 5 or 6 years. They now understand why. They understand how the cell walls are weakened and breached. They understand the oxidation and the calcium that's seeping out and through the cell walls. They know how it's happening. The warnings are out there, but they're being ignored. Just as the cigarettes and asbestos and thalidomide and all of those other things, the warnings were there from the true scientists. Yet because of the economic interests, these warnings were ignored. And the same thing is happening now. And there have always been bent scientists who, for money, will say that cigarettes are safe. I mean, there were scientists. I can remember when I was a kid seeing on television ads saying that scientists say that smoking will calm your nerves. It's good for pregnant women. This is the same thing that they're doing now. They're calling anybody who is raising the hue and cry, who is concerned about what's happening, they're calling them tin hatters and making fun of them. But the fact is that this is even more dangerous than cigarette smoking or asbestos. Cigarette smoking affected primarily people who chose to smoke and those immediately around them who were exposed to secondhand smoke. They knew they were being exposed, all of them. But with this wireless radiation, nobody is making the choice. We are all being exposed. Some people are making the choice to hold the cell phone. That's true. Or to have a wireless modem in their home. That's true. But we're all exposed when we go to a restaurant or when we're driving our car down the street and there's a cell phone or a cell tower we're driving by, or with these microcells that tell us it's putting just feet from our bedroom windows. We have no choice. And we don't know it. It doesn't smell. We can't see it. We can't hear it. So you don't know it's there. You forget about it. It's insidious. And everybody's being exposed. From before babies are being born, they're being exposed. So the ramifications from a health perspective is going to be far worse. In fact, many of the doctors and scientists like Dr. Hardell and Deborah Davis and Dr. Martin Blank are calling it a tsunami of health problems that are going to be hitting us. And it's starting. You know, we're starting to see more people who are sensitive, who are having major health problems that most doctors don't know the cause of. And the incidence of cancers are increasing, especially brain cancers. Things like that are happening. Children with autism, increase in Alzheimer in very early ages. Things like that are happening, and a lot of it is responsible or is due to the wireless radiation.
We'll have more with Sharon Noble right after this.
Hi, I'm Douglas Mason, President and CEO of Rainy Mountain Royalty Corp., RMO on the TSX Venture Exchange. Rainy Mountain's Brunswick property is located in the Ridout Shear Zone in Ontario, with grab samples running as high as 32 grams per ton gold. A follow-up drill program to test the numerous targets located by recent groundwork will commence later this year. Please visit our website at rmroyalty.com.
In Goddard we trust.
Welcome back. We're chatting with Sharon Noble. Sharon, you've pointed out in the past, too, childhood brain cancers are skyrocketing. At least it's been noticed in Australia, right?
Yes. It's been noticed in quite a few countries that the number of, and in the U.S. as well, that the number of brain tumors and brain cancer in people, especially 15 to 29, those are the ages that right now seem to be skyrocketing. In a most recent study that I saw, it's down to age 7. They're really starting to see serious cancers and tumors. And in Canada and in British Columbia, no one's keeping track. The Cancer Society continues to say that nothing is happening, that there's no increase. And many of the bent scientists are saying that there's no increase. It's a major problem when there's not enough money dedicated to keeping track of increases in cancers like this, because it ends up with people being able to say, with the companies being able to say, that there's no evidence of increased harm. We just don't know that it's happening. And if you don't look, you won't find. It is in Australia, one of the neurological surgeons down there, is saying that he is operating on 8 times the number of kids that he used to be. And, if you look at around you, just a few years ago, say 15, 20 years ago, you didn't hear about brain tumors and brain cancers like we are now. I can talk to people, standing in the grocery line, which I am wont to do. My husband teases me because I talk to perfect strangers about things like this. But invariably, talking to people, you can find people who know someone with a brain cancer, know someone with some bizarre disease that you never heard of before. Of course, it's not all, Alzheimer's increasing, autism is increasing. Things like this, these things are happening, and it's not all due to the microwave radiation. We're doing so much other harm to ourselves with pesticides and GMO foods and things like this. But taking them all together, we're creating a very unhealthy world for our kids and grandkids to inherit.
Do you have any suspicions about Gordon Downey's inoperable brain cancer that killed him?
It was a glioblastoma.
Yeah.
And one of the articles that I shared on Update, they were talking about the fact that for the way that rock bands work, they wear these earpieces, these wireless earpieces, so that they can hear each other well and communicate well. I mean, he wore those for years, for decades. And there's Wi-Fi, strong Wi-Fi emitted through the stage area constantly. I mean, no one is saying this was the cause, but it's more than a coincidence, I think, that, he was only 53 years old. Glioblastomas are very, very rare, yet look at the number of people that have had them lately. And, if he's had these wireless things, and when you look at it, this sort of wireless earpiece is similar to the ones that kids are wearing in stores. If you go into some of the video stores, some of the large stores that like Best Buy and stuff, they're all wearing them. These are irradiating. They're sending waves through your head. This can't be good.
Well, even the new iPhone is wireless.
Yep.
The earbuds are just stuck in your ear.
Yep.
And the kids who work in the fast food places as well.
Well, and look at these virtual reality things that the kids are using in schools. You know, these Google glasses and things like that. They're putting these things up to their heads and shooting them through the most vulnerable parts of their body, their ears and their eyes. I mean, this is directly into your brain. This can't be good. And you're hearing about kids who are having problems thinking. They're having problems participating in school. They're having problems, behavioral problems. They have temper tantrums. In addition to having things like, I know I've heard of many kids who just can't attend school because they get sick, they get violent headaches, they get nosebleeds, fainting spells, things like this. This doesn't happen in a wired school. This doesn't happen, with kids that are not exposed to this. In Silicon Valley, where all the people who work with these things live, they send their kids to wired schools, and they don't allow them to have cell phones until they're older. That tells you something.
Sharon, are you going to be going to the NDP convention in Victoria?
Sure am. Yep. I can't seem to get any response from the NDP any other way, and I'm hoping others are there with me. I've got a sign with 2 smart meter fires, one that occurred in Langford, where the smart meter burned down a house. And I can tell you, Jim, this fire bothers me. I saw that house. I saw the YouTube that was taken by Czech News at the fire scene. I heard the fireman tell what happened when he got there, what he saw. And I saw the video. It doesn't match at all the fire report I have. That was a smart meter fire. And they're saying it started in a planter. No. This fire report has been doctored, and it really, really concerns me. I'm going to have a poster with that fire, and I'm going to have another picture of a melted smart meter. And I'm hoping that I can get some attention of some of the delegates who are walking through, who have received my fire report and who have ignored it. And I'm hoping to find out, have they been directed to ignore it? I don't know, but I've heard word of mouth. People have told me, and I have yet to confirm it. I want to talk to Mr. Horgan. I want to talk to our Premier face-to-face. Has he told his ministers? Has he told the MLAs to ignore this fire report? If he has, he's being guilty of harmful negligence. This is information that his MLAs and his ministers should be taking action on. This is information he should be taking action on. And if he's directing people to ignore it, then there is something major wrong here, and I want to find out what it is. But yeah, I'm going to be down there. The delegates will be entering their sessions from about 8 o'clock to about 9 or 9:30 on Saturday and Sunday. They'll be taking their lunch breaks at about 11:30 to 1 on Saturday and Sunday, and they'll be leaving to go to the hotels at around 4:30 in the afternoons on Saturday, and then breaking, I think, at around 1 to leave. If people want to contact or get attention, that's where to do it. The MLAs are not being terribly available to people. I'm getting people who are saying that they're writing their MLAs, especially the NDP MLAs, asking them for help, and they're being ignored. I got a letter from Energy Minister Mungal in which she responded to a constituent's concern about smart meters, and it was basically a form letter with all the same information that Bennett sent when he was Energy Minister. She's mouthing the same lies. She's mouthing the same false and erroneous information. There has to be a reason. Why isn't the NDP being more responsive to major issues like this? I know they've got a lot on their plate with Site C and with Enbridge, but this is a big issue too. Houses are burning down. Lives are being put at risk. We deserve more than this.
Sharon, thank you so much for giving us a chat here. And can you tell people where they can go on the internet to find out more information?
They certainly can go to our site, which is www.cmc, stopsmartmetersbc.com, and they can get all of this information, and including my fire report if they would like to read it.
Thanks again, Sharon.
It's always my pleasure, Jim. Thank you so much.
My guest has been Sharon Noble, Director of the BC Coalition to Stop Smart Meters. If you have any questions for the show or our guests, you can email them to info@howstreet.com. I'm Jim Goddard. Thanks for listening.
Comments made on the Goddard Report and TalkDigitalNetwork.com are an expression of opinion only. The Goddard Report is available online and mobile at TalkDigitalNetwork.com. The Goddard Report is a production of How Street Media Incorporated.